very important topic to discuss, and that's the firing of Ron Rivera by the Carolina Panthers. When I posted our video yesterday on our YouTube channel, I just basically broke the news. Well, not myself, of course, ESPN broke the news first, but I discussed the firing of Ron Rivera and his record and what he's done for the franchise over the last 9 seasons. But as I looked into things in more detail, the question quickly developed, were the Panthers right to fire Ron Rivera? And it's a good question. If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you're deeply invested in this decision. If you're a football fan in general, you probably have your own thoughts on this topic. But when I started looking at the record and what Ron Rivera has done, how many coaches in the NFL have been with their team for 9 seasons? Not many. I mean, Bill Belichick, to name one of just a few. The NFL has a serious problem with head coaches in terms of bringing them in for 1, 2, 3 years, and then they're gone if they don't win right away. So when you have a guy that's been with a team for 9 seasons, he deserves some type of respect. And the fact that the Carolina Panthers and David Tepper, most specifically, decided to get rid of him in the middle of the season, or at least late in the season, after 12 games, 3/4 of the way through, it's very disrespectful to what Ron Rivera has done for the franchise. This isn't a guy who had a losing record. He had a winning record. Now, he's struggled over the last 2 seasons, and we'll talk about that more, but that's because Cam Newton suffered a shoulder injury last year and now has been out most of the season this year with a foot injury. So what coach in the NFL is going to have winning seasons with their star quarterback out? Your job is just to hang on until you can get him back, or decide to move on without him and restructure the offense and bring in a new quarterback. So obviously the Carolina Panthers have struggled. And let's take a look at what Ron Rivera has done throughout his career with the Carolina Panthers. If you look, in 2011 and 2012, he came in and had losing records. 6-10, 7-9. Most coaches don't make it past that. But then as you continue to look down, 2013 comes back with a big 12-4 record. 2014 they falter a little bit, 7-8-1, just an average season. Then he comes back again, 15-1. Then they falter again, 6-10, but he comes back at 11-5. And again, the last 2 seasons they've struggled, but mostly due to Cam Newton not being 100%. If you remember last year in 2018, they started out pretty well before Cam Newton got hurt. And he's been hurt most of the year this year, and they're not like a 2-10 team. They're 5-7. And they got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team this week that they can beat. Ron Rivera in his 8.5, 9 seasons has 3 division titles, 1 NFC championship, which obviously means he had a Super Bowl appearance. David Tepper, the new owner, took over last year in 2018, so he has a short-term memory. It's not what have you done in the past, it's what have you done for me lately. So since David Tepper has taken over, the Panthers have struggled just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. But again, Ron Rivera deserves more respect, and they were wrong not only to fire Ron Rivera, but to disrespect him in the way that they did. He deserved more respect after being with the team for 9 seasons. They should have let him finish out the year if they were going to fire him. And I know what you're thinking. If you're going to fire a guy, and you know you are, just pull the trigger when you know. But again, Rivera deserves more respect from the Carolina Panthers than he was treated. And if I'm the Panthers, and of course, again, David Tepper's short-term memory, he's only been there 2 years, both looking like losing seasons unless they can win 3 of the last 4 and get to 8-8. So he doesn't remember. I'm sure he knows, but he's not bought in for the previous 7 seasons of Ron Rivera. But the fact is, yes, Ron Rivera has had losing seasons, but he always bounces back. 12-4, 15-1, etc. He always bounces back after a losing season. This would have been the year they bounced back, would it have not been for Cam Newton getting injured. The fact that Cam Newton is injured has derailed their ability to have a good season this year. There's no mistake about it. But this is a guy that's been with the franchise for a long time. Ron Rivera was deeply invested in what he was doing, and he's a very good coach. And that's why you have a guy like Cam Newton coming out and saying how hurtful it was in so many words that they fired Ron Rivera. And if you're going to fire Ron Rivera, you might as well just get rid of Cam Newton and restructure the quarterback position and move on. Because both Ron Rivera and Cam Newton are like tied together. So it's time to discard Cam Newton and start over if that's the decision you made to get rid of Ron Rivera. But make no mistake about it, the Carolina Panthers are wrong for this decision. It's their franchise. They can do whatever they want. But if I'm a fan, I grew up as a Florida State Seminoles fan. We had Bobby Bowden for years and years. I grew up a Dolphins fan. We had Don Shula for years and years. And there's something to be said about your team having a coach for a long time. You're going to have some rough seasons. I mean, unless you're Bobby Bowden. But you're going to have some rough seasons, and then you're going to have some good seasons. But when you bring in a new coach, you're going to have to ride the wave for a few seasons. That's just the way that it goes. A new coach is going to come into Carolina and just start winning right away. They may have a winning season. They might even reach the playoffs because they got the personnel to do so. Christian McCaffrey, a good receiving core, a decent defense with Kuechly on that middle linebacker. I mean, they have a good team with solid players, but you're going to have to ride the wave now with a new coach coming in with a new philosophy, and it's going to derail them a little bit. If I'm the Panthers, I keep Ron Rivera. I hope to get Cam Newton healthy, and we have a great season in 2020, but that's not what happened, and I think the Panthers will suffer now in 2020. No matter what they do next season, they could have won 2 or 3 games more should they have kept Ron Rivera under the helm as head coach. Now, the question is, too, will Ron Rivera take some time off, or will he go for a head coaching job? Because guess what? I mean, any other team, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I love my coach right now. I want Brian Flores to stay there. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but if the Dolphins had a head coach opening, I'll be the first one to say, hey, let's get Ron Rivera all day, every day. I mean, it's a good coach. He's fired up about football. He knows the game. And the fact is, most teams would want him as their head coach. So big mistake by the Carolina Panthers, in my opinion. I'm sure there'll be some people that have different thoughts on this, but if I'm a team, I want Ron Rivera to be the head coach. And if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I would have continued moving forward with Ron Rivera. But they didn't do that. So that's the situation. Moving on in the show.
Fuck the devil. 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 Hey, tear down the wall. Hey, tear it down. Hey, I only wanna worship one thing, that's his crown. Hey, tear down the wall. Hey, tear it down. Hey, tear it down. Hey, tear it down. Hey, tear down the walls. Hey, tear them down. Hey, I only wanna worship one thing, that's his crown. Hey, tear down the walls. Hey, tear them down. Hey, tear them down. Hey, tear them down. Hey, oh yeah.
I'm a worship ladder, I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you motherfuckers, got a problem with it.
Oh yeah.
Something about your ways tell me you's a bitch. I'm bouncing up and down in your face like a pogo stick.
Boing boing.
Preaching about my soldier status, that's what's up.
Beep beep.
Chilling in my Bentley with my roof up.
Beep beep.
Cruising down your township.